Hey everybody, I'm Todd, and this is Sweet Tea Guitars. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel, and welcome to my life. I love my life. My life is as wonderful as anyone's could possibly be. So for those of you guys who have seen my latest video, the one that I posted last, which was the body construction for the Ryza build, you'll know where I'm at. If you have not seen that, go back and watch the neck construction and the body construction for the Ryza build at least, and that'll catch you up and kind of give you an idea of what we're doing here. I am getting ready to prep the body blank for the Requiem build, which is the second of the two guitars that I'm building right now. What I've done here, and I'm not going to pick this up, I'll pan down and let you guys see. So here is my body blank that is getting ready for glue up. And before I pick this up and we start spreading this glue out, I'll just go through a couple of things. This is soft maple, these two outside pieces. This is walnut. I've got a piece of mottled eucalyptus veneer, a piece of Purple Heart, another piece of mottled eucalyptus veneer, walnut, and maple. This guitar is going to be based on a Strat, and it is not going to be a Stratocaster though. It will not look like this. It may be similar, but there will be things done. I'm using this as a starting point. I spent the entire first year of getting into building guitars without touching a tool. I educated myself the entire first year. I did nothing but read, watch videos, study, and prepare myself to be able to do this with some level of confidence. Although it was hard for me not to get started, I made certain that I spent a whole year studying, paying attention, watching videos over and over and over again from a certain few guys that I knew had their crap together. Ben Crow was the first person that I started watching, and I have learned more from that guy. Between him and Steve McElhenney, I have learned just about everything I know from those guys. Steve's a methodical teacher, and if you want to learn specific tasks, Steve's great to learn from. If you want to learn how to be freeform and how to let inspiration guide you through the building process, if you possess that kind of thing inside of you and need that to be filled, then Ben is he's the man. I mean, there's just no other way about it. After that year, I started slow. You know, it was time for the Great Guitar Build Off 2021 to start, and I had no clue as to what I was going to build. It started off being a Strat with a Floyd Rose, and I built the neck, and my neck got ruined. It had a back bow in it. I had to start all over again. What I discovered during that time was that I absolutely love building on the fly. When I first started actually putting tools to wood, the first thing I did was started building templates. And I probably made 4 versions of this before I got one that I was happy with. This is based on an Ibanez JS1000. Now, the reason I chose a JS1000, there are a few subtle changes on this guitar that a Strat does not possess. Number one, and my favorite design aspect of the JS1000, is the non-symmetrical belly right here, which gives this guitar forward motion, forward momentum. And I love that. So that's why I built this. That's why I'm using this as a basis for this guitar. Up in here, I'll probably change all that around. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start building, you know. I'll draw off a shape until I'm happy with it. I'll take it to the bandsaw, we'll cut it out, we'll build a guitar. That's how I like to build. What I am doing by building that way is I'm searching for my first production model, you know, something that I know that I'm pleased enough with and that I feel like everyone else will like as well, that I want to reproduce. Once that happens, I will make a template from that body, and I will make notes and measurements and little things that I do to this guitar or whichever guitar it winds up being. I've got myself kind of on a system to where I mentally catalog like certain things I do on a neck pocket, or certain things I do when I'm shaping a neck or drilling tuner holes in or whatever. You know, there's certain processes that I go through. I've gotten to the point now to where I'm confident enough that I don't have to be so consumed with worry and stress, that I'm free enough to kind of mentally catalog those things that I'm thinking, so I can incorporate those ideas into the next build. And I'll remember those things on down the line. That's what learning is, I believe. And that's what eventually will make you a great builder. Now that I'm into this, there's no turning back for me. I will do this from now on. This is me. This is what I do. I found what I love. So thank you, Ben Crow. That's what I'm trying to get at. Ben, I know that makes you happy to hear people say that you inspired them to get into building. So be happy, brother, because you have inspired me not only to want to build my first guitar, but to build my 100th guitar, to build my 1000th guitar. I've got ideas raging like a forest fire inside my mind because of you, brother. And I really appreciate it. It has brought a new level of happiness, joy, inspiration into my life. And I owe you a huge debt of gratitude for that. So, peace. I mean it. I really do mean that. I just wanted to get this glued up and talk about a few things about this wood, and to let you guys know what got me here, and to say thank you to Ben. Let's get this body blank glued up. I am really super excited about getting started on this build. And then I've got a brush right here. I just want a nice clean bead all the way down. I don't want any voids in this. We've been through this glue up thing before. Like so. Wood glue really starts drying out when you start putting pressure on it. So, you know, just keep that in mind. You don't want to be a slow poke, but you also don't have to worry too much about it. My veneer strip. I just absolutely love doing this. I swear to you guys. I can't. If I didn't have to sleep, I would do this 24 hours a day. I swear to you. I would. I love it. I get so much enjoyment out of it. And there's just so many parts of you that this feeds. It's just so great. It really is. So for those of you guys who are thinking about getting into this, do yourself a favor and absolutely get into it. And give yourself to it. You know, give yourself over to what this has the ability to do for you. If you're like me and have so much nervous energy that you'll screw stuff up if you don't have something to do with your time, this is an absolute killer way to spend your life. I'm just using this straight edge right here to get everything lined up down on this end, or roughly lined up. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm just going to start putting a little pressure evenly, a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there. I can feel it making contact. All right, I'm under pressure at this point, so I think I'll be all right to lift this up. Let's get some of this glue off of here too. So this will be the front, and as it stands right now, I've got this body dimensioned down on the planer to a hair over 38 millimeters. So I can wind up having room to sand, make sure I can get all this stuff leveled up, and get it down to, you know, if I wind up at 37, even 36 millimeters will be fine, because I am going to cap this guitar. Now I'm going to take another clamp and we're going to place it across the center here. That's my body blank for the Requiem build. Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for a little while. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, please. I could use some subscribers. It just helps me out to see my subscriber count grow. I feel like people are getting into it, you know. And I know based on the comments that you guys are getting into it. So tell your buddies. Tell them to stop by Sweet Tea and just hit the subscribe button. I'm not going to start flooding them out with email or anything. You know, it's just a subscription. It's no big deal. Anyway, I really appreciate it. So I've got this feathered walnut that my buddy Mark from Core Tree Custom Guitars sent me as a gift. And I'm telling you right now, this is some of the most interesting wood I have ever seen. Look at that alien wood. As it stands right now, this body blank is at 38.4 millimeters thick. So once I glue the top on, we're going to be looking at 44 millimeters thick, plus enough room left to sand. So there is my body blank sanded. Now I got a couple little chip out places right here in the Purple Heart. I'm not so much worried about those on this side since my top's getting glued to that. There will be no voids in that when I'm done. Now when I start working on the back, I've got the same stuff going on because this Purple Heart's curly and the grain's running all over the place. I tried planing it both ways and it just would not plane correctly. So I just barely hit it as much as I had to get everything to level out. There's ultimately what we're looking at right there. Wickedly beautiful. But I need to joint these edges. I've got a jointer, but on wildly figured wood like this, a jointer's a terrible idea. It will absolutely tear up your board. So I'm going to take my number 4 and just lightly go down through here. I'll get a feel for this once we start going here. And I want to get my iron set like it needs to be. That pass felt really tight and nice. So there is my top glued up. I've got a really nice looking joint here. I'll scrape all this glue off with a razor blade once it dries up. You guys may not be as impressed by this as I am, but look at that right there. That is sick. I love that. I can't wait to see what that's going to look like with a couple of coats of Osmo on that. It is so beautiful. The first thing I want to do right now is I just want to quickly go over this back with some 80 grit. Clean this up real quick. Make sure I don't have any bumps or humps or whatever. Get rid of any roughage. So let's just do that real quick. Then we'll get this top glued on here. It feels nice and smooth now. I've already sanded this side really quickly. I think this side's got the more uniform madness going on, if you guys know what I mean. So that's the side I'm going to put out. I've marked off a center line in the middle of the Purple Heart. I did not worry about finding the center of my body. I want the center of the Purple Heart to be my center line. So I've laid this down the way this is going to go on the body. I've got my center line lined up on my joint. What I'm going to do is just take my pencil and I'm going to draw around the shape of this body blank. All right, well, let's take this over to the bandsaw. I'm going to turn the vacuum on. Everything's set up. We're ready to roll. I'm going to stay outside that line. Clean up around these holes just so I can make sure I don't have any humps or bumps or anything else. Now let's check it one more time. Just dry fit it. And that should get us where we need to be. Now, so I make certain that I don't have any issues when it comes to clamping and I wind up getting on top of one of those or whatever, I'll take my flush cut nippers and nip those off. I've got all my clamps down here in the floor at the ready. I'm going to use Gorilla Glue. I want to get this bottle used up so I can standardize. Make sure you're good and clean. All right, I've got me a little brush over here. I'm going to spread this glue out. I may not have enough. I don't know. Don't let your brush touch any other thing but the body at this point, because now that we've got this glue on here, it'll pick up, you know, anything, any dust or anything that's on your table. And you don't want to leave any voids. It can cause you all kind of problems. And I mean problems that cannot be fixed, like anomalies and frequency problems where it creates a chamber inside of that gap. There's that side. There we go. I'm going to start on this end. Clamp these two things right here. I'm going to do that same thing just like that and try to help spread some of this pressure. All right, that is looking good. Love these Irwin quick clamps. All right, I think I'm pretty much covered. I wouldn't mind putting one more right in this area. All right, guys, so there is my body blank in all of its splendid glory. You can see the clamps and how I've got those boards placed on there. Again, I just put these boards vertically like this to try and help distribute that pressure over the surface because I don't have any deep reach clamps. So we're going to pop these clamps off of this body blank real quick. and see what the result of our effort is. I'm using a Stratocaster tremolo. This is a Geiger Strat tremolo, and this is a surface mount tremolo. It's not going to be in a recess. I've got plenty of thickness to be able to incorporate this and still get myself a back cover. I don't really use a back cover over the tremolo springs, but it'll be there if somebody wants it. So body blank's done. As it stands right now, the first thing we need to do is cut our truss rod slot in this neck. So I'm going to do my normal thing. I'll grab my edge guide over here for the Makita. I've got it right here. I'm using this Geiger. It's got solid brass ends on it. It is a dual action truss rod. So I've measured between and found the center between where the nut's at, so the beginning of the fretboard, and where the 22nd fret's at. And then I flipped the truss rod back and forth and discovered that this particular truss rod, being shorter, this is a 420 millimeter truss rod from the end of this brass block to the end of this brass block. I prefer a 440. So my recommendation to Geiger is, I love this truss rod design, but make us one in a 440 millimeter. I put a mark, that is the center between the 22nd fret and the nut line. So I laid my truss rod down and I made a little pencil mark right here and found where the center, both the centers meet. That is right here. Well, I turned it around this way so the adjustment nut would be on the heel, and I've got about 3/8 of an inch to the end of the neck. I turn it around this way, and that puts me too far under the fretboard in my opinion. So I'm going with the heel access. So I've got everything set up the way we need it. My snap-on headlamp that my buddy Elmer gave me, which I think is very cool. Thank you, Elmer. Let's get this done. Well, guys, I've ruined it. Alright, well, I've ruined the neck. My router bit was obviously not tight enough. My router bit creeped out of the router on me. I'm really surprised. I've never had that happen. I guess we're going with plan B. It is what it is. There is one positive thing about this. This neck is oversized. We could potentially say this neck is ruined, but the neck's not actually ruined. What's ruined is the centerpiece of Purple Heart, which, in all honesty, I was questioning whether or not I should have put those veneer strips like I did on the body blank on this thing. So let me vacuum this stuff up, and we'll take this out to the table saw, cut the walnut and the Purple Heart strip out of the middle of this thing. We'll joint it and re-glue it up with the two veneers on the outside of the Purple Heart. That way it'll match the body blank. These things happen. So luckily I'm not far enough into the process that it really is going to cause me that much of an issue. So what happened was, I don't know how well you can see down inside that slot, but I started off taking about a 3 millimeter pass. The collet was not tight enough, obviously, and the router bit started creeping down, 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 and it got deeper and deeper as it went. Yeah, I ruined that center piece of Purple Heart, and I got to re-glue the neck blank up, but whatever, you know, it'll be all right. So here's my plan. I'll put the saw blade kerf to where it cuts right on the outside of both these, those walnut strips. I've got a stick left of Purple Heart. I've got more Purple Heart than this, but I've got this stick left that'll cover that center section. I've got enough enough of this walnut right here left to cover the two outside edges. I'll use this as my center, my border between the walnut and the Purple Heart. We'll have the veneer, that'll match the body, everything's fine. I was able to salvage this beautiful 4A flame maple that I got from C. Jacobs Wood. We're gonna glue this neck blank up at this point. We will draw out some shapes on the body and start trying to figure out what we're gonna do on that. So I'm changing up the style of the video a little. I've jointed everything. I ran those pieces through the planer to make sure that they were nice and even. Like I said, I'm not glad it happened, but it is giving me a chance to fix a couple of things that I was actually already starting to regret that I didn't do. Mainly putting the veneer in between the Purple Heart and the walnut like the body's done. So this has given me at least the opportunity to fix that problem. Once this glue up is done, I am going to run this whole thing across the jointer, and we'll take that walnut down that way and get everything surfaced like it needs to be, and we'll get it ready to route the truss rod channel and glue the fretboard on. Make sure all this is nice and level. Then I want to go down through here with my little pick and press down this veneer. All right, you guys, there's my neck. Back to the body blank, which is not exactly what I had planned for this. But, you know, sometimes you got to make arrangements. Sometimes you got to zig when everybody else is zagging. You got to adapt and overcome when it comes right down to it. Mistakes happen. Just want to make sure I get me a good dark pencil line down through here. I'm using a 0.7 millimeter. So all I'm going to do right now is line this template up on my center line, mark out the front of my nut on both sides. And then I'll take this off. We'll take our square and complete that line across. Now I have jointed both edges of this neck blank and checked it with the straight edge to make sure that I was square all the way down. All right, so there's my nut line. All right, I'm lined up on my center line. I'm using the Sweet Tea headstock on this guitar. Another decision I came to last night was I was debating with myself what fretboard I was going to use on this guitar. Well, I want to build a guitar with a maple fretboard. I may leave it natural. I may burn it with a blowtorch. I don't know yet. We'll figure that out. That is my neck for this Requiem build. I'm feeling a little bit weird about attempting this truss rod thing again, but I'm gonna have to do one of the two things. I've either got to route the truss rod now, then slot the fretboard, or vice versa. All right, guys, there's no time like the present, so let's roll with this, all right? I mean, what else is there to do? Just get after it. So there's our truss rod slot. You know what that means, right? So I've got this fret slotting template from the Maxim Guitar Works template set. I have already jointed one side of this fretboard, and I've got an arrow drawn to remind me which side that was. I'm going to take my 0.7, starting down here at the nut, and I'm just going to mark out these slots. I'm going to the right side. Now I've got marks all the way down through there where my frets need to be. And I know I use this side for reference. There we go. Fretboard slotted. I don't have the truss rod in there yet. We're going to drill us in a couple of locator pins in a fret slot off to the side. One there. Take us a toothpick. Now that we've got the holes in there, we can pop this off. Take our little clippers, clip the very tip off of there. Just a dab of super glue. It does not take much. In the hole. A little proud of the surface. We can glue this fretboard on. Let's put the truss rod in the slot, and I'm just going to barely dab this just where the brass is. Not even enough to get any squeeze. I don't want too much, just a little to keep the truss rod from rattling. Peel the masking tape off, pop our fretboard in place, and let's start clamping. All right, we'll flip it around. I'll put a couple of these ratchet clamps on. I got squeeze on both ends. Neck blank glued. I'm happy with that. That's what I'm gonna do. You know, I don't know how you guys feel about that shape, but I like it. You know, I'm doing this to be free, man. Maximum Guitar Works Stratocaster template. Even though I'm not building a Strat, all I'm using this template for is the neck pocket. I've got my center line lined up like I want it, and I'm just marking this out to give me a reference when I go to super glue and masking tape this template down to the body. I'll be able to get it back in the right place. I've measured from the tip of this little area right here that I've got to the heel, where the heel ends on the neck pocket. You want that length to be right at 3 inches, roughly. All right, so I'm just going to put this 6mm bit in the drill press. There we go. Neck mounting holes in. Very little tear out to deal with. I need to put a Forstner bit in my drill press so we can hog out some of this material right here. All right, I think that's about as far as I want to go. We'll do the rest with the router. All right, guys, let's get this neck pocket routed. That went pretty well, I have to say. I don't see any inconsistencies. A hair over 16mm, but I have not sanded the top yet, so we're good. So there we go, guys. Neck pocket cut. This body's where it's going to be for a little bit till I get through with the neck. I'm doing this just like I did the Ryza build because I felt really good about how that went. You know, I routed that neck pocket in the body blank, left it until the neck was shaped. This will be my first maple fretboard. I'm excited about it. I'm giving some thought to what kind of dot or what kind of inlay material I'm going to use for the dots. I'm a fan of that pearl powder and epoxy method, you guys. You know I am. But I've also just gotten some plug cutters. This will allow me to cut a circle plug, like a length of a little circle plug out of wood. I can make fret dots with these. That's exactly why I got them. I've already got exotic wood. I just needed some bits to be able to cut rounds out of them. So now I have that. Anyway, I am really happy with the way this is turning out so far. I love that walnut. Mark, thank you so much, brother, for sending me that wood. It's beautiful. I can't wait to see it with some Osmo on it. I may put some diluted color just for enhancement, but I will absolutely keep that transparent. I may do like a blue, yellow, purple gray thing on the front of that body. I think that would look pretty good. Not quite a galaxy finish, but kind of a random yellow patch, blue patch fading into a black or gray. I think, or I may go a monochrome. I may actually do this grays and blacks, possibly even some whites. I got to figure out how white's going to take to that. Anyway, we'll play around with that and see what goes on. I wanted to tell you guys one last thing before I wrap up this video. The more I think about this, I mean, looking at this body blank, this is spectacularly beautiful. And you can see the back too. I mean, it's just going to be a lovely guitar. And I've started having thoughts of maybe not using a flat neck on this guitar. I want to use this neck. I think it's going to be a nice neck. I just think I would rather have a substantial neck. Back angled headstock. I just really think that I should go all out. I mean, this is a maybe not a once in a lifetime guitar top, but it's absolutely a special piece of wood. And I want to do this guitar justice. I want to do Mark proud. He gifted me this wood. And I want people to look at this guitar and say, yeah, that is a kick-ass guitar. I hope you guys are cool with that. Another thing that I keep going back to is, or at least internally, is this truss rod that's in here. That truss rod's just not long enough. And I would rather put that neck on a different guitar. I think this guitar needs a special fretboard, not plain maple. That one's got some flame to it, so, you know, it would have been all right. But I think this guitar deserves something special. I may have to go on a hunt for that, but we'll see. I've got 25 different fretboards I could choose from here. I've got some pretty spectacular fretboards. All right, you guys, this is Todd from Sweet Tea Guitars. I want to thank all of you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to watch me build guitars, to watch me do what it is that I absolutely love doing. And even though these videos serve as kind of a review to go back and watch and see where I made mistakes and to see what I did wrong or to see what I did right in some cases, it helps me come up with my next guitar design. And, you know, I make videos for that reason, but it's also so rewarding for me to know inside that I'm on this journey to try and build not just my YouTube channel, but Sweet Tea as a guitar brand, as a guitar company, over these next several years. And I really do want for this to be a collaborative effort. You know, even though it's me on the video, even though I'm the one building the guitars, I love reading you guys' comments and taking your suggestions. It makes me think. It gives me brand new ideas, things I may not have thought of before. So I really do love that part of this. You know, that's one reason why I will continue to make videos. You know, I could just start building guitars at this point, come back for the Great Guitar Build Off 2022, start back filming videos at that point. But I really enjoy taking the time to make these videos, not just for my own satisfaction, but the satisfaction that I feel because I know you guys are watching it too. And just from some of the comments I get, you know, it makes me feel really, really good to know that you guys are into how I do things. It's a really rewarding thing for me to feel, knowing that you guys take the time to comment to me and make, you know, whether or not it's constructive criticism or whether or not you're just paying me a compliment or if you're just making a benign comment. That none of that really matters to me. The fact that you're taking the time to engage is that's what really matters to me. That's why I want to continue to do this. That's why I want to grow this channel. So, you know, if it's not too much to ask and if it's not too much trouble for you guys to click that subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. You know, it makes me feel good. I really want to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can start doing live streams. I'm not in that big of a hurry, but if you guys will help spread the word and get some people into this, I assure you I am going to keep fresh content coming. I'm not going to bow out of this. I'm in this for the long haul. I'm here to stay. I'm going to keep doing this. I love bouncing ideas back and forth. That's part of the creative process for me. What it really comes down to is sharing my love for building and taking all this passion and this vision that I have, putting that into an instrument and sharing that with somebody else. That's what this really is all about, you know. As a matter of fact, the thought of that really makes me want to come down here every day and spend absolutely as much time down here as I possibly can. I want to remain true to this in all ways. This has humbled me and brought so much joy into my life that I want to give that away. You know, I want you guys to feel that too. All right, you guys, I'm Todd. This is Sweet Tea Guitars. And you guys remember, until next time, take 5 or 10 minutes out of every single day to be unnecessarily kind to another human being. Peace and love.